good with it, in the hood with it. Welcome back to the Collective Clips, where you already know we get it in. But before we get it in, let's hit that like and subscribe button. Ding! Put your notification bell on all, so that way you're directed in the direction of the dope content I'm kicking. And I highly appreciate all the support, man. We're going up on this channel, and it's all because of you. And for that, I can say I'm very humbled, and I'm more so appreciative, man. So let's get it, right? What's going on with all these new trends? This new gangbanging trend, man. I think social media has taken over, right? I think this shit is crazy. The things that I'm seeing nowadays, you know, people pulling up to the rivals' neighborhoods and basically setting up shop, doing music videos, clowning, kicking over candles, kicking over memorials. You know, the game has changed drastically. You know, and in the Chicano and the brown community, I wasn't used to seeing nothing like that. You know, I'm not going to say that I've seen it more so in the black community, but I know the brothers have always been known to pull up, man, disrespect their rivals, and basically go head hunting for whoever. Now, back in my days, there was hunting. We'd all jump in cars, man, go look for the rivals to smash, you know, fighting, shootouts, whatever the case may be, man. That was part of gangbanging in the 90s. That's part of what it was. You already know what you had to look forward to. But now things have changed. Now, these guys are getting bold. They're getting crazy with it, right? Now what I'm seeing is the social media clout chasing hype has taken over to the point now where the main thing to do now is pull up in your enemy's neighborhood and set up shop. Now, most of these neighborhoods that they're pulling up to are not frequented. It's not like back in the days when we'd be all at the parks all day from sun up to sundown, kicking back, drinking, hanging out, you know, setting up shop and establishing right there, letting everyone know that was our park, our area, our hood, our barrio, and there wasn't going to be no one coming in or out of that area without us getting, you know, without us touching them in some type of way, right? That's just how it was. And people knew not to go into the enemy's territory because there was always going to be someone on lookout, someone on poste, someone watching. And it's just going to end all bad, man, one way or the other. But nowadays, that's not how people kick it. See, most people are not in the streets like that. Most people are in their homes, behind a computer screen or a phone all day long, talking shit on the internet, gangbanging on the internet, and then they might go out to hit a little concert or hit a little spot, man. So most people aren't seen. That's the only time you can catch them slipping is if they're going out. But 9 times out of 10, most people are doing their gangbanging and whatever they got going on from inside behind locked doors, right? It's just the way it is. That's part of life now. Nobody goes outside anymore like that. Now, what you have is these rival gangs. And in this case, you have the Norteños from Sacramento and other areas, of course. And then you have the Southsiders, upstate Sureño movement from, of course, San Jose and other areas, man, that have decided to basically kind of gangbang through the internet by going to their rivals' neighborhoods or their parks, knowing damn well that the guys are not there, you know, and then they'll make fun of them. Where you guys at? We're right here. What it is, you know. And that all leads back to internet bumping baking soda breath. And let me explain to you exactly what it is, right? So you have a lot of guys, hey, we're in our hood 24/7 on the block, man, come through, pull up. Let's see what you're about. Then guys say, okay, let me test those limits. Let me see what you're really like. So they'll bend the block with tinted windows. No one knows who they are a couple times and wait to odd hours till someone's not there, right? Then they'll go post up and be like, hey, I was in your neighborhood right here on your corner, on your block. And that's how they're beefing. They're going back and forth, but displaying it to everyone, not only to the rivals, not only to fucking people that jock and that are sympathizers, but also to the authorities. It's basically a form of dry snitching. You're telling them, hey, look, we're trying to fucking get caught up over here. This is where we're going to be at this certain time. And we were over here and we were over there. It's kind of like 6ix9ine pulling up to O Block or pulling up to Nipsey Hussle's memorial at 1 a.m. You could hear fucking birds chirping. The sun was barely coming up. That guy jumped out the car real quick, took a picture, jumped his ass back in with his bodyguards and got pushing, right? That's what people are basically doing. But I guess they're getting a little bit bolder from what I'm hearing. Now they're barbecuing, setting up shop, doing music videos. They're there for an extensive amount of time because they basically, that's the new way of gangbanging, to show that your rivals ain't shit, that you can go into their neighborhood unwelcome and post up, meaning that their neighborhood is now weak. It's out of touch. It's watered down. It ain't everything that these guys say it is, right? Now, quietly as it's kept, there's some neighborhoods down south, Southern California, or even up in Northern California that you dare not go into. That's a fact. You notice, man, a lot of these neighborhoods that they are going into are kind of defunct, old school neighborhoods where there's not very many members anymore. People don't really post up there too much. I know, take for instance, Chito Ranas' neighborhood, Howell Park in Sacramento. I'm going to give you the real, man. You know, at one point in time on the north side of Sacra, Howell Park, they were doing their thing. There was a gang of upstaters right there from Howell Park, and they used to hold it down in that park, and they'd go at it, and they were surrounded by all Sacra Norteños and even some other Southsiders, man, and they would handle their business. But throughout the years, man, things changed, times changed. It became more about making money rather than gangbanging. People grew up, started to get old ladies, get families, get locked up, incarcerated for shit they were doing in the 80s and 90s. And it became where they're still a barrio, but they're not applying the pressure in their park. They're not there all day because that ain't what people do nowadays. People don't fucking sit around and hang around in a park drinking all day, especially not in Northern California. More so what they do now is they're working, they're out there chasing that bag, they're dope dealing, whatever they got going on. It ain't hanging out in a park all day. Now, there are still some that do that. There are some old school barrios, generational barrios in Southern California where you'll always find a few of the homies or camaradas posted up at the parque hanging out. That's just the way it is. But it doesn't seem like these are the guys that are doing this shit. This is a Northern California trend, okay, between the upstate Southsiders and the Norteño movement. Okay, in Southern California, that's a whole different thing. How they go at it with their rivals, if they go over and post up in their rivals' neighborhood, I haven't seen that too much. I have seen things on TikTok, Instagram, even YouTube, where Vatos are walking through the rivals' neighborhoods or cruising through, pulling out cuetes, showing guns, all kinds of weird shit, right? At the end of the day, all they're doing is telling on themselves. And eventually, man, they're going to get caught up by law enforcement for something as frivolous as being caught in possession with a firearm, man. It's just what it is, right? There's not 9 times out of 10 ain't shit really cracking off, ain't shit popping off. Real ones that are really wiggling out there ain't going to show you what they're doing. They're just going to handle it, not speak on it, and keep it pushing. You know, another body, it is what it is. They're going to wiggle out like John Gotti. Now, of course, in Northern California, because of this upstate Southsider and this Norteño rivalry is heating up, it's getting so intense on social media, you know, back and forth. What you have is the Southsiders, man, that are now posting videos, man, basically looking for Norteños in their neighborhoods, going up, doing music videos, posting up, basically taunting their rivals. And then, of course, the Norteños are clapping back or, you know, doing the initial fucking woofing or whatever, right? And it's like the new trend. I'm starting to notice it more and more and more. I know it happened in Tulare County. I seen it. It's happened several times in Sacramento, now San Jose. And I mean, there's some neighborhoods that I guarantee people just won't go post up in. Case in point, like my neighborhood where I'm from, right? That's a neighborhood one way in, one way out. Now, there's not as many homies as there once was back in the 90s, posting up on the block. Everyone grew up or locked up. But back in the days, man, you wouldn't have any type of rivals going in because they already knew what time it was. You know, there's neighborhoods in the Mission District, man, where you'll see like Southsiders like that guy Thumper from the North Bay, right? Who's a well-known upstate Southsider, man, who does a lot of music videos and a lot of fucking videos showing his presence in the Bay Area, San Francisco. But you're not going to see him on the Mission. You're not going to see him right there on 22nd and Bryant or on 24th Street or in Excelsior in certain areas, right? He knows where to wiggle and where not to wiggle. Just like if a Norteño went to LA, he would know where to wiggle and not to wiggle. And that's basically nowhere, right? Because every hood is spoken for. There's a barrio on every corner. You know, like I said, I think this is a new Northern California trend where this is just a new way of gangbanging without really getting touched or hurt. Now, it's only a matter of time before someone's presence is known and there's going to be an altercation. Because best believe, man, you can't go disrespecting people's hoods, disrespecting people's causes, and there not be no repercussions for it. And it's unfortunate that has to be that. It's unfortunate that it has to constantly be, because if you look at the thumbnail, you look at the pictures in the background, these guys all look the same. I couldn't tell the difference between them. The only difference is the color red or blue. Other than that, they look like just a bunch of gang of Mexicans out there hanging out on the block, dressed similar, acting similar. The speech patterns are similar. You know, I know in Northern California, the upstaters, not all of them, but a lot of them, especially from the Bay Area, have that swag to them, urbanly influenced. Kind of like they said, Norteños from the Bay Area have always been urbanly influenced. What they like to say, they like to act black, right? At the end of the day, man, I think they're just a product of their environment, and that's how they were raised. They were raised not fucking segregated from other ethnicities. They were raised to gel and blend in with everyone, and they got that Bay Area swag. Let's just keep it real. That's the Bay swag. They're on their own hype over there, right? Whereas in the Valley, it was more of a Chicano stilo, more Cholo stilo. That's just how it's going to be. So you'll see a lot of the upstaters from like the Valle, they still dress in the bands, the Dodger shirts, the Dickies, whatever, man. Same thing with the Norteños, right? But now in this new era, there's a whole different type of flavor. It's more, you got the Edgars, and then you got the Chicago blowouts, and all these different looks that are starting to become incorporated with North and South in Northern California. And now it is even starting to affect Southern California. I'm starting to see Southern California rappers with grills, with all big massive amounts of jewelries like Lefty Gunplay, Swifty Blues. I'm starting to see, I'm not seeing too many Southsiders anymore in Ben Davises like I was used to, or Norteños in Ben Davises. Now everyone's wearing tight pants with holes in them. Everybody's wearing, the half shirts with the, there's no more Raiders or Dodger jerseys or Cowboy jerseys or Niner jerseys. That shit is out the water. Now everyone has, backpacks on and fanny packs, and they're just on a different type of hype. It's just a different stilo, man. And I accept it and respect it, but at the same time, the only difference, like I said, is a philosophy, is a make-believe existence that your group is better or bigger than the opposition. But can this become dangerous in Northern California? Absolutely, man. Especially nowadays with these gangs, there's rap beefs, there's a lot of Norteño Sureño conflict on the internet. It's going to get real in the streets, man. It's going to get more real before it gets real fake, right? Because these youngsters, man, don't give a fuck. They all got the I don't give a fuck attitude. It's not that they feel pressure to do something, but they're putting themselves in position to do something. They're taking more and more chances. They're on their MacGyver shit, man. They're making something out of nothing. And I'm going to tell you right now, man, it's going to get tricky. And there's going to be bodies that start dropping. And it's unfortunate that's the way it is, because there's innocent civilians at these parks that can't go enjoy these parks. Imagine the people that are just in there doing their thing, and then all these gang members pull up to film something for Instagram or YouTube, man. Probably shocked the shit out of them, scared the shit out of the kids. They're like, oh, wow, right? Because they don't know if the rivals are going to come and start shooting. And innocent kids seem to always be the ones that get hit, man. There's always an innocent bystander that comes up short. Just the way it works out. So and historically, it's always been like that, right? So I noticed, I think the latest one was these Southerners in San Jose, right? In the Rivals neighborhood. Making sure that they did a lot of disrespect, and they were woofing and showing that, hey, we're right here, homes, and you Vatos can't get rid of us and you can't do nothing. Okay? Look, quietly as it's kept, everybody knows there's upstaters established pretty thick in San Jose. Everybody knows San Jose will forever be known as a Norteño stronghold. There's always going to be more Northerners than Southerners there. Doesn't mean the Southerners are not moving smooth. They're out there, man. They are definitely out there. They have definitely staked their claim in their certain areas. And I think San Jose was the very first upstate established city to actually start sporting their team colors, getting Sanjo blasted on them. They basically took, which were like northern words, like San Jose was also known as Sanjo or Sharksteros. And I started to see Southsiders from upstate with big old sharks on their neck, 408s. These traditional tattoos that you were used to seeing Norteños get in San Jose. Kind of tripped me out, man. I was like, wow, they're getting all the same tattoos. They look basically the same. Sometimes you can't even tell because guys aren't wearing red or blue. They're just wearing black, Golden State, 49ers or whatever. And you might think that they're your homeboys, and you're going to find out real quick that they're not. It's a tricky game in Northern California. The way the street gang politics are played, and the way everybody basically looks the same and acts the same. It's a trip, man. I know in Southern California, you could easily identify the Chicanos, the Southsiders, by their look, by their aggressiveness, the way they act and rock, man. It's just the way it is. I'm not judging book by its covers, but it's not hard to see that they've hardly, and not a lot of them have strayed away from their roots and their cultura. Now, like I said, there are those that are. It's a new trend. Everybody, and it's not that I'm thinking the Southerners from down south want to be like the Vatos from up north. No, it's just what people are seeing on the internet. Hip hop has taken over, man. It's influenced everyone, man. Like the brothers like to say, and I got to give them their respect and their flowers, man. They say we touch everything and influence everything. I can't lie. Their influence is very heavy, man. Let's just be honest and truthful here. I'm not racist, man. I'm not going to fucking deny it. You know, there's a lot of Mexicans that are very, especially nowadays, that are very influenced by the hip hop culture, by the brothers, man. Facts, right? Just whereas there are brothers, man, that are influenced by the lowrider culture and the Mexicans as well, man. That's two beautiful cultures, man, gelling together and influencing each other. And so basically it's up to whatever you like, right? Do I think it's going to get dangerous in Northern California? I think it's been dangerous. I think these guys are just testing the limits and people are starting to see what's been going on. This ain't nothing new to be actually and factually, right? Here's some knowledge you can't get in college. They've been doing this shit. Vaulto's been fucking baiting the rivals. Like, what's up with it? What's up with you, right? Invasions. That's what it is, right? We're just now starting to see it because it's starting to become more and more associated with this rivalry on social media between North and South. Norteños and Sureños traditionally for 50 years have went at it, man, whether it's in the system or outside of the system. And with this end of hostilities, I thought a few years back, man, that maybe there was a chance at unity within the raza. But I've now come to realize it's hard to unite with the other side, right? Or the opposition or whatever label you want to put on it when you can't get right within your own people. When there's so much shit going on within your own people, man, you got to get that together before you can get that together, if you understand what I'm saying. So until these groups, man, come to an understanding that they're all Mexicans, they're all brown, it is what it is, man, there's going to continue to be bodies dropped. There's going to continue to be baiting. There's going to be continuing to be people getting incarcerated. And of course, man, operations this and that and RICOs and all that. Because, man, society is tired of the bullshit. Not only they're tired of it, it's getting old already. Okay, I know to some of these youngsters, it's fun because they're just now getting into the mix. And this is like earning a stripe to them, I guess, posting a video. Hey, we're right here, we're right there. But back in the days, no videos needed to be posted. We didn't need to alert anyone we were right here. We just pulled up and they knew we were right there. You know what I mean? That was the difference. Didn't mean we were harder. It just means we were fucking seasoned a little bit different. You know, all purpose. Nowadays it's paprika. It just is what it is. Anyways, I know that Rico Too Smooth did a video a while back in Sacra and Hal Park, which is Chito Ranas' neighborhood. And I think this retaliation by the Southerners in San Jose pulling up to a Norteño neighborhood is just showing, you know, it's kind of like back and forth, tit for tat. Hey, we could do it, you could do it. You could do it, we could do it. You guys are all doing the same exact thing. Now, I understand, man, and I'm not trying to disrespect any of these guys. I have nothing but respect for these youngsters, man, because I know what they're going through. See, I once was there, man, when I turned to the streets, and the streets were my only medicine, okay? They were my medicina. They were my, you know, that respect, man. I strived for that respect. It's kind of like me going to the casino. I don't give a fuck about the money. I care about that thrill of the win, right? You know, makes you feel good, like you accomplished something. Well, that's how I felt when I was involved in gangs. Every day when I was out there with the homeboys and homeboys were like, that's right, homie. I felt like I accomplished something for the day. And I didn't care what it took. It started to get worse and worse and worse. Whereas I started doing more and more crime and get deeper into the game because I wanted that notoriety and that respect. And it didn't come quite as easy as it did when I first got in the mix. So these guys are taking these types of chances, man, very dangerous chances. It's only going to get worse from here on out. Soon they're going to start saying, oh, okay, all right, now let's go post up in a very functioning and active neighborhood. Because I'm going to be honest with you. These neighborhoods that they're going into are not as active as they make you seem to believe. Okay? If they go into a neighborhood when motherfuckers are really wiggling, it's going to be ugly. Okay? On both sides. That's real. Same thing goes for the North and the South. Man, I'm not choosing sides. I'm keeping it real here. And I'm telling you, man, it's a bad look. Because basically all it's doing is alerting the authorities that the shit is going even stronger than ever. And that's why you're having fucking these RICOs and these operations, this is and that's. And it's because, you know, if they're considering it street terrorism. They're considering these guys getting a little too bold and brave, man. So they got to knock people back up out the saddle. That's what it is. The best way to win in anything, man, is to keep that shit clandestine and unknown. Never let anyone know your moves. You know, with social media, it's all about clout. It's all about proving yourself and showing people what you got or what you do. And if you haven't realized by now, man, none of that shit matters. All you're doing is giving them heads up and letting them know. Now, these neighborhoods that you're going in, now they're going to sit posts down on it. Now people, I know if Vatos did that in my neighborhood, came through like, hey, Holmesy, I'm right here, dead end, whoop-de-whoop. Back in the days, what we'd have done is like, okay, you ain't going to get that second chance. There won't be no second round, bro. You got us one time. You come back through the second time and we're going to pop your whole top off. That's just how it was. And I'm sure people think the exact same way. So anyways, man, is it a new trend? I don't know how they do it in other states, but I know in California it's getting a little wild, man. It's getting super active. You know, it's dangerous in Northern California to be out on the streets just because either you're going to get apprehended by the cops, man, or you're going to get topped off by the rival. And this is, you don't want that, right? You can't go out and kick it at the clubs, go to the concerts, party, the fairs, all that, like we used to back in the days. Yeah, we'd see the rivals. Yeah, we'd get off. But Craig, we'd live to fight another day. Nowadays, these kids got Dracos, ghost guns, all kinds of types of different things, right? And they're willing to use them for that. That's right, homie. And then they go into prison and realize that that's right, homie, is very hard to come by. Because there's a lot of homies all fighting for that same thing. And that's that respect, bro. And sometimes there ain't enough room for everyone. And one piece of slippage, one bad misstep, bro, and you're going to be the homie getting metal put in you. With that being said, I hope that you move smooth with a purpose. Get everything that you want coming. And remember, at the end of the day, you guys are going to do what you do as youngsters, man. This new generation is wild. I respect it. I respect it because I don't want to get affected by it. But I will say this, man. It just trips me out as an older head that's no longer active and in the mix, man. Wow, some of these things you guys are doing are crazy, man. Be on the lookout, bro, because it's dangerous. This is the gun. Bang, bang.